Let me bring in Barbara Heineback now from Wollongong in New South Wales, a former advisor to two Democrat White Houses. Barbara, great to talk to you. First up, I just want to get your feelings as an African American, as someone who's worked closely with the Democrats. Do you feel any excitement about Joe Biden being on the cusp of walking into the White House?
This is the most confusing election that I have ever lived through. It's a can of worms, Chris, because on the one hand, I've always been able to be a bit excited about who's coming into the White House next, and I'm going to support any president who is in the White House. That having been said, there's been so much that's gone awry, and you and I talked 2-3 months ago, and I expressed my concern about mail-in votes, and I've seen so many. I mean, it's a miscarriage that takes place every year, and no one's made too much of a big deal about it. There've been some recounts here and there. 2016, there was a situation somewhere in Florida where they had to do a recount, held things up for 2.5 or 3 days, I recall, in southern Florida. But it's been on smaller numbers this year, and they blame it on COVID-19, but that really was not the case. I'm interested in a fair and legitimate ballot, not just any old ballot, and when they can keep, just raking them in until you get your numbers up. So that has come as a really big disappointment to me. You saw what has happened this year around with so many people of color, the Latinos, Black American males, and everything that has just been off the charts in support of Donald Trump and everything that he's done for the nation in terms of job enhancement, job creation, lowest unemployment ever, the highest economy the country has ever seen. We are energy free, and what he's done in the Middle East, with Israel and EAU and Bahrain and another country and a few more coming in. And his biggest achievement, I think, will certainly be that he has appointed three judges to the Supreme Court. So I'm not on a high yet. And the other part of it is this is not over yet. Yes, Joe Biden might claim the presidency over the next few weeks, and he may, at the end of the day, be the individual that will walk into the White House. But with his cognitive issues and how a party of elites has just used this man to push him across the line, and the destruction that has taken place across my country for 5.5 months. And when I think about everything that Donald Trump has done for 4 years, when you consider this man has had to fight against the Democratic Congress, who did nothing except try to get him impeached. He had to fight against a mainstream media that was totally in the pocket of the Democrats. When we look at the social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Google, they were against him. And then we had the billionaires that used to be in the party of the Republicans, the wealthy. We had someone like Michael Bloomberg, who gave $100 million to senators and in some of these other races, all to Democrats trying to win more seats in Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and all of his personal $100 million went up in smoke. He didn't achieve anything for that money. So this was, the fix was in from the beginning. And so that does not leave me anything to be excited about.
There's a bit to unpack there, Barbara, and I agree with you. This is the reason I've always been worried about this election and Donald Trump losing is not because I'm a huge Donald Trump fan, but because I respect some of the things he did. He's often his own worst enemy, as I just demonstrated with his treatment of John McCain. But the point is that the fix was in right from the start, that the efforts to impeach him, the ridiculous Russia collusion thing that the media just went with this lie relentlessly, big money and big media has been against him, and it's been disappointing to see. And you mentioned there that normally Americans rally around the presidency, and That's something I've always respected about American politics, Barbara. Usually after a result, the whole nation says, well, this is our president, we'll support them for that term. But there's never been a sense of that with Donald Trump. And as I say, of course, he makes it hard for people to warm to him with some of his methods. But there's never been an embracing of Donald Trump by both sides of the political aisle in this country, has there?
No, there hasn't. And I'm glad you brought that point up, Chris, because I think the main reason why there has not been is because the media and the Democrats framed Donald Trump all of a sudden overnight as being the most egregious racist ever. And let's face it, he is not a misogynist, he's not a xenophobe, he's not anti-Semitic, he's not a anti-LGBTQ and all of these things. And all you have to do is remember The Apprentice. And when he was running that show, and he would always have a winner, he had blacks, Latinos, whites, young, old. He even had, what was her name, Joan Rivers. And you talk about someone drawing outside the lines. She won, and she ticked off a lot of boxes. She was Jewish, she was old, she was a woman, and all of that. So he was doing fine as a human being, and no one had a problem with him for 30 or some odd years when he was a Democrat. But all of a sudden, when he became a Republican, they started to throw these tags at him, and Trump demonstrated through what he did, promises made, promises kept. Whereas the Democrats come in and make a lot of promises every 4 years at election time, and they disappear, and the cities of the USA have become dilapidated and in a state of dismay, especially those run by Democratic mayors.
His big problem, Barbara, was that he proved the media and the political establishment wrong. He proved them wrong, he humiliated them, and they wanted to punish him for that. And the sweet thing about his departure, if it does happen over the next few weeks, is that he's kind of humiliated them on the way out as well. Great to talk to you, Barbara. I can't wait to see you again back in Oz.
Okay. Be safe. Please be safe.